Okay, good evening Spartans. Welcome to session number 33 of the Stay Home Spartans lockdown sessions. We are going to work a little bit on isometric strength today. I am back at home. We have just built some high chairs, so there are boxes and bags everywhere in the background. But we can get going around that. Hopefully you guys have a bit more space around you than I do. So before we do get going, we want to get warmed up. So a couple of the basic moves that we have done several times over, so you should be well used to these ones by now. We're just going to come into a walkout and full press up, guys, to begin with. So 1 minute, just at your own pace. It's just going to be walk out into a press up position. When you're in that press up position, one full press up, chest onto the floor, right the way back up onto your feet, and then rep that out again. So you're going for more reps basically. So 1 minute, just walking out into that press up position, back up onto your feet. 1 minute walking out into the press up position, one full press up, and then back up onto your feet, I should say. Repping that out, just as many good reps as you can squeeze into as you can squeeze into 1 minute, into 60 seconds. Anybody else waiting? No, we're good. So you're 30 seconds in. At the end of this one, you're going to stay down in a press up position, and we're going to come into that wide mountain climber with rotation. So previously has been called the world's greatest stretch. So that's the one we're going to come into next. And again, we're going to do that one for a minute as well. So super simple. Going in 5 seconds. So you're going to come down into that press up position. Big stride forward. Big rotation up. Back down, and then same thing on the other side. Okay guys, off we go. Let's go. So it's that step forward, big rotation up to the ceiling, back down, step back, step forward on the other side, and up. And again, really try and open the chest up, so it's not just lifting your hand up behind you, it's actually turning the body into that stretch. Back down, step back, step forward, and open the chest up to that side. So big rotation each direction. That's good. So if you step forward with the right foot, lift the right hand. So you twist towards that front thigh. And again, it's that nice big twist each time. Big rotation up. Again, going for another full minute. And time. Okay guys, on your feet for this next one, we're going to work a little bit just on your squat depth, a little bit of squat mobility. So what I want you to try and do is keep your feet flat on the floor, and you're going to try and drop into a resting squat. So I want you to squat down as low as you can, and we're going to try and hang out in that position for 2 full minutes. Okay, so when you're ready, drop right down. Don't worry too much about being in a perfect squat. So it's not like an active squat where I want you trying to hold that parallel position, chest up. This is just relax into it. So actually, low as you can get. Try and sit your hamstrings right onto your calves. So you're actually just resting in that position. Don't worry too much about keeping your back flat. So like I say, it's not an active squat. What you're going to do is try and shift your weight from right to left if you can. At any stage during this one, if you feel you need to stand up, you need to give the hips a little bit of a break, just do so. Just stand up, shake them out, and go out back in again. We're just trying to work on that mobility. So it shouldn't feel like you're having to, like when you do a wall sit against the wall, it shouldn't feel like you're bracing. You're actually just hanging out at the bottom. So it's a bit of mobility. It's a deep squat. Try and draw a figure of 8 with your hips. Halfway through, 1 minute in, another minute left to go. Now you can play about with this position a little bit. So if you drop your elbows in between the knees, you can then use your hands to try and spread, try and push out, create a bit of a stretch around the groin. Or if you find you think you need a little bit more on your back rather than your groin, what you can focus on is hands to the floor, and then hands as high as you can get them in the air, and hands back to the floor. And just work between those two positions. You'll find staying in that deep squat is quite a challenge to try and get those hands up in the air. Another 30 seconds, again, choosing which ones will suit you best. If you just want to hang out at the bottom of that squat, that's absolutely fine. You can do so. There's no problem with that. There's no problem with that. We're then just going to come into the last little bit of the warm-up, which is just going to be a warm-up for the hips, the lower back. You're just going to pop yourself onto your back, and you're just going to let your knees rock from side to side. So we're going to change over. Just pop yourself down onto your back, and all I do is just rock from side to side. Just spend 1 minute letting the knees rock from side to side. For anybody that has been getting back in the gym, how's it been feeling? Any stiffness, any soreness? You know, anybody gone too hard on their first session back? Or have you taken it nice and easy? That's the question. So again, I would always argue that it's actually better to go a little bit too easy to begin with, because you can always ramp it up. What's very difficult to do is to go too hard and then try and ramp it back down again. That's a lot more difficult. Okay guys, you're going to bring yourself up onto your feet. And we're going to go straight into our first drill, okay? Straight into our first drill. Now we've got 3 different positions. And you're going to basically hold a position as long as you can. Every time that you feel a position, you just move into the next position and hold it as long as you can. So your first position and every other position is going to be a low press up. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, you can do it from the knees if you need to, but you're going to get yourself into a press up position. You're going to lower yourself close to the floor, and you're going to hold for as long as you can. So as soon as you feel, so if you collapse onto the floor, that's a failure. You just immediately stand up, and then you're into a split squat. So again, my knees not touching the floor. I'm just holding that split squat position. If I feel that, I'm back into my low press up. I'm going to hold that for as long as I can. When I feel that, I do the same thing with that split squat, but this time I do the other side. Does that make sense to everybody? So you're going to cycle through that as little as possible in 7 minutes, okay? So every failure, you just move back into the next exercise each time. So we're starting off with that low press up position, so get yourself into that low press up and hold. We're going to start that in about 10 seconds, so make sure you get yourself ready. We are going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So it's 7 minutes, start to finish on this one. But again, now if you can hold that low press up position for 7 full minutes, I'll be very impressed. But as soon as you feel, whether you collapse onto the floor or whether you do a full press up, you have to come back up. That's fine, that you just move into the split squat. Just remember which leg you put forward, because obviously the next time you do that, you'll do the other leg. But every second exercise is that press up and hold. So all that is a plank, but in a really, really difficult upper body position. So think about trying to keep shoulders peeled back as much as you can, so you're squeezing right back as much as you can. Keep that knee in that split squat just off the floor. So you want it about 2 inches at most off the floor. So again, every time, like I say, if you can hold that low press up for 7 minutes, I'll be very impressed. But you'll get a hell of an upper body workout, and you'll also get a hell of a core workout. But if you feel, down you go, straight up onto your feet and into that split squat. So again, nice and low. Try and keep hands on the hips, on your shoulders. Try not to push off the leg. Try and stay hands off that front leg. Again, you hold that for as long as you can. You'll either feel by dropping onto the floor, or you'll feel by standing up to give yourself a break. Either failure, you go back into that press up position. So it's basically upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body for the full 7 minutes. And the only difference in the lower body is that first set is left foot forward, second set is right foot forward. Simple as that. And you just keep alternating. Now, ultimately, I don't think anybody's going to do it. I don't think anybody has done it. Actually, definitely haven't reached that. So if you feel, you just move on, but you hold each one as long as you can. Hold each one as long as you can. Looking good. Did you not send out the memo that we have to wear our O2 Touch t-shirts today to everybody else? You guys must be so embarrassed having turned up wearing the same outfit. 2.5 minutes gone. 2.5 minutes gone. So over a third of the way through. When you think about being in that press up position, think about, even though you're holding there, think about pushing your hands apart, so as if they would slide along the floor. So you're trying to push apart in that kind of position. So you're really trying to brace through the triceps, through the back of the arm. So as you're holding that position, you feel like your hands are pushing out to the sides. Create that brace. As you do it as well, really feel like you're squeezing the shoulder blades back. So you're in that press up position, squeeze those shoulders back and down. Really lock in that position. Try not to creep into that where your shoulders are pushed forward. Same thing for your split squat. You know, it is a static position, but it's an active move. So what I want you to try and do is you're going to try and push. So this one, I've got my left foot forward, so I am driving my left foot into the floor that way. I'm also driving my right foot into the floor that way, really pushing back on it. Now I can rest my hands there, that's fine, but don't brace, so don't push off that front leg. Try and make sure the weight stays through the leg. There you go, halfway, 3.5 minutes gone. I promise after this there won't be any more static moves. Everything will be moving. And it's another fairly low impact one. And the reason I'm making this one low impact today, or a particular reason, is, well, number one, we don't necessarily need a lot of impact. I mean, we can do that, but a lot of people will be going back to the gym for the first time in a while. I'm sure some of you have already been. Maybe you're already feeling the ill effects of getting your hands on a barbell again. I know I am. I know my legs are feeling stiff today. It's looking good, guys. Okay, so we're looking good. So again, those holds might get shorter and shorter and shorter. If you're looking to really push yourself, whenever you think you've got to a stage where you cannot hold it for any longer, you think you've reached your absolute limit, give yourself a countdown from 10 seconds. If you get to 1 and you have to collapse, collapse. If you get to 1 and you can go again, go back to 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, and only allow yourself to drop on the 1. Only allow yourself. Practice that kind of mental toughness. Try and push yourself through it as much as you can in different places. You're 5 minutes gone. 5 minutes gone, so you have literally 2 minutes of this to go. Just 2 minutes of this left to go. So again, if anybody is doing it on, I can't really see floors, the cameras aren't that good, but if anybody's doing it on a carpeted surface, I want your knee touching the top of the carpet but not resting on it. If anybody's doing it on an exercise mat, any hairs on your legs are touching the mat. That's how low I want it to be. So you think my knee is almost on the floor, but not quite, not quite. That's it on the floor, so there's barely a drop. 90 seconds remaining. Not even 90 seconds. Not even 90 seconds. Things up a little bit. And each one, again, you do the right leg, you do the left leg, you do the press up position. Those are your 3 holds. Now, if you are deciding you want to repeat this at any stage, you can do the same thing. If you have a pull-up bar, you can do the same thing where you hold the top position in a pull-up or the top position in a chin-up and hold yourself there as long as you can for your upper body exercise. Or if you don't have that, if you have maybe a TRX at home or gymnastic rings, you could get into a ring row position where you lean back and hold yourself up. And again, make it a static hold. Get that squeeze through the right parts of the body. Less than 30 seconds left out of this 7 minutes. Less than 30 seconds left. So we're working on that isometric strength. So trust me, really push into it for this last bit. Don't just hold the position. Actively try and squeeze as tight as you can in that position. So again, trying to straighten the arms, trying to push the arms out wider. So you got that squeeze through the shoulders. Bracing as hard as you can. Embrace that squeeze. 3, 2, 1, and relax, relax, relax. Grab yourselves a drink. Grab yourselves a drink, guys. We're going to go into a little moving one, okay? A little moving one. So again, like I say, keeping things fairly low impact, but we're going to try and keep things where we can single-sided on the legs, okay? So we're going to try and do a lot of unilateral work, okay? So all we're going to do is a minute of each lunge variation, and then we're going to go into a plank variation each time, okay? That's going to last us 10 minutes, 10 minutes. But I'm going to give you another 30 seconds to rest. So what we're going to start off with, really simply, is just going to be a full split squat. So you're going to hit me for this, because it's just going to be a replica of the first 2 moves, okay? So what I want you to do is first 30 seconds is split squat, knee to the floor, back up, all the way up. 30 seconds, constant movement. End of that 30 seconds, all I want you to do, switch sides, and you're going to do the other 30 seconds there. Yeah, that makes sense? Yeah, the very pissed off looking faces that I can see on Zoom tell me that they understand. So, bring yourselves onto your feet, guys, get yourselves ready. Right foot forward, left foot back. And you're going to go into those 30-second split squats. 3, 2, 1, off you go. Let's go. So again, knee to the floor, back up. Try and make it a full range of motion. If you want to really be horrible to yourself, you could make it a pulse, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend. So it's just that full all the way up, all the way down. And try and keep that constant motion. All the way up, all the way down. At the end of 30 seconds, you're going to swap sides. The good news is, this is the only time you're going to do this one. We're going to change each time. Ready, and swap sides. Off you go. So same thing on the opposite side. You don't have to jump like I did, but you can do if you want. But it's the same thing. So other foot forward. No, I did that way, didn't I? So again, try and remember which side you have done. And again, full range. Try and keep moving as much as possible. Now, like I said, you're going to hit me, because at the end of this one, you're going to come straight down. It's just going to be 1 minute of press-ups. Coming in, 3, 2, 1, hands down, straight into press-ups. So we're going to work our way between upper body and lower body. And press-ups is a plank variation. So it's just a plank where you move up and down. Even if you're doing it from the knees, that is still a plank variation because you have to brace through the core. So try and keep moving. You're 30 seconds in, 30 seconds left to go. We're then going to come back up onto our feet. And we're just going to do an alternating reverse lunge. Okay, so just standing forward on the mat, forward in the room. And it's that step back into a lunge, step back up. Big stride back, step back up each time. Alternating legs. That's in 10 seconds time. So we're going to change over in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's big stride back, step back. Each time, so big stride back. Try and get knee tap the floor if you can. Big step, just alternating sides every rep. Again, 1 minute. Like I say, keeping things unilateral, so you're working each leg individually. Because even though it is good to practice squats, deadlifts, things like that, they have their place. There is very seldom any time when you're going to be moving both feet together at the same time on a rugby pitch. Doesn't matter what code you go for. Next one, you get to stay still. You're just going to go into forearms and toes, a plank position. If you prefer, just hold a full press up position, that's fine, but you're just going to stay static, okay? So you're not going to move in this one. It's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down we go. So I'm just going to go here. It's just going to hold that press up position. Try and tuck your hips in, tuck your bum underneath. So what I want to see is that kind of position there, not letting the hips hang down, okay? So not that arch in the back. So try and tuck in, tuck your tailbone in, try and brace. Try and hold your breath, not hold your breath, that's a terrible thing to say. Try and hold that position, but maintain a steady breathing. So it's that. Trying to breathe steadily throughout. This is good. So you're 25 seconds left. Keep holding. Your next one, you're going to be back onto your feet. Again, it's going to be single-sided, but we're going to go into a wide stance squat. A wide stance squat. And all I want to do is just come down on one side, up, come down on the other. So just keep a nice pace. Try and get down. Make sure it's that triangle up, triangle down on the other side. Changing in 3, 2, 1. So wide stance. Off we go. That's that. Up and over each time. With this one, try and keep your chest up. Try not to collapse too far forward into it. So you will lean forward a little bit, but what I don't want to see is people dropping their chest into it. Trying to stay up each time. This is good. Really, really nice. If you want to actually challenge yourself a little bit further, can you drop your hand to your ankle each time? Can you get low enough to touch the ankle across the way, across the body? Good. It's nice. So we're going to go into just an alternating side plank to side plank. Again, I just prefer being on my hands. You can do this from the elbow. It is up to you. So, changing over in 3, 2, 1. Off we go. So it's just that alternating from side to side. Make sure you turn your hips, turn your shoulders, so you come fully into that side plank. Again, you're not just flicking your arm up and keeping looking at the floor, you're turning into it each time. Try not to fall over like I've just done, and just alternate each time. You can go from the elbows if you prefer. We're now going to try and get a little bit of opposition. So you're going to move with a little bit of a crossover. So you're going to step out to the right. Your left leg will cross behind into that lunge. Step out to the left, right leg will cross behind. That's going to change over in 15 seconds. So those curtsy lunges. So not skater squats, those curtsy lunges. So again, quite low impact, but step out with the right, ready, and change. Let's go. So on your feet, step out with the right, cross the left over, cross the right over. So actually be a slight twist around the hips. Again, anybody that's trained alongside a partner, get coordinated or get far enough apart that you're not going to be hoofing your partner in the shins as you kick that leg across. It's good. Anybody tuning in from Berlin? Feels like half the team is over there. Good. This next one I do want you to do on the hands, because you're going to lift one foot up into the air behind you, then back into a press up position. So we're going to change over in 5 seconds. So it's going to be that foot up into the air, back down, up into the air, back down. Ready, and change over. Off we go. Just alternate the foot that goes in the air each time. Make sure hips go up, but then they come back into that press up position, then hips up. So again, we're just practicing bracing the core through different positions. But also moving the shoulders, moving the body through different positions as we go. This takes us all the way to 8 minutes. Now the last one, the last plank, I want you to choose, I'll go over that in a minute. But we're going to go into the skater squats next. So this is like those curtsies, but now with a little bit more momentum. So you'll still step out to the right, and then I want you to try and touch with your left hand, and then step out to the left, touch to the right. So it's that step out each time. The further you jump, the more challenging that becomes. Going in 3, 2, 1, off we go. So you step out to the right, touch with the left hand, step out to the left, touch with the right hand. So again, I've not got a huge amount of room side to side, so I tend to just do a step. If you want to jump, you might have a little bit more room. Turn side on, and again, out to the side, explode out each time. Try not to let your other foot touch the floor, although of course, if it's a choice between that and falling over, let your foot hit the floor. 30 seconds more, and then we're going to go into a plank variation. Now that is your choice, okay? I would choose, personally, I would choose the rainbow plank where I rock my hips from side to side, but it is on you. Something that holds you in a plank position, possibly changing that position from time to time. You're going to change into whatever you choose in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So like I say, I would choose rainbow plank, where touch right hip then left hip to the floor. But the choice is on you, whatever one you want to do for 1 minute. We're looking strong though. 30 seconds remaining, 30 seconds remaining. That's our 10-minute upper body, lower body block done. And then we're going to look at a little bit of stability stuff. And then we're done for today. Still 20 seconds left. Last 10. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Okay guys, grab yourselves a drink. Grab yourselves a drink, nicely done, nicely done. So what we're going to look at is a little bit of stability. So usually we do the stability stuff at the start, but now we're doing a little bit at the end because obviously you still want to be stable when you are fatigued, okay? What you don't want to do is get to the end of a game, whether that is in touch, whether that is in contact, whether it's 15, 7s, whatever variation of the game that you play. What you don't want to be is to be so fatigued that you're more at risk of injury. So we're going to try and practice a little bit of stability stuff here. Just keep in mind that it may be more difficult than when you normally do it towards the start of a session. So we're going to do a little bit of balance work. And all I want you guys to do is we're going to play about with balance. This is completely on you how often you do it, but you've got 2 minutes to try and balance and make it challenging for yourself. So what we're going to look at, we're going to start the timer in about 20 seconds, but just going to try and balance on one foot. That's dead easy for me, so I would take it to the next stage where I try and lift my foot up here. It's still relatively easy, so I'm going to try and add in a little bit of upper body movement. Now I'm starting to wobble a bit more, so it's a bit more of a challenge. I might even, obviously just check out your surroundings, try closing my eyes. Suddenly, that's a lot more difficult. There we go, that's me falling over, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to practice that balance. So soft knee, soft standing leg, so you're not locked out, just soft leg, and just try and balance there. Ready? 2 minutes, off we go. Let's go. So just 2 minutes. Now there are different ways, okay? So obviously if you find that challenging, if you find you're wobbling all over the place just by balancing on one foot, just practice that, that's fine. Make it harder, lift that foot up in front, and start to turn the body. So again, imagine you are trying to pass, you're in the middle of being tackled, you're off balance, you've got to still be able to get that effective twist in there. Close your eyes, close one eye, can make it different because you lose a little bit of depth perception, so suddenly that balancing becomes a bit more difficult. Ultimately, if you think all of this is easy, what you can start to add in, just from the side, is you can try and do all of that, but from a tiptoe position. So you may not be able to see on the video, but I've got my heel off the floor, and suddenly everything has got a lot harder. So you do the same thing. If you do it on one side, try and do it there, get your heel up off the floor, up onto your toes. That was terrible, but same thing. So make it as challenging as you can. If you're up on your toes, you can balance there. You'll find you may be a lot more wobbly than you think or than you want to be. Good, you're 1 minute and 20 seconds gone. If you fall, swap sides. Doesn't matter how often you swap, you can practice this one at any time. If you're making a brew, making a coffee, making a tea in the morning, just get on one foot. Nice one to squeeze it in on is actually when you're brushing your teeth, because the action of you moving your arm makes it harder for you to balance. Plus that should be 2 minutes of balance work as well. 15 more seconds. Again, just practice as often as you need to in this one. Then we're going to start to get the hip involved. So we're going to come into that single leg deadlift. Okay guys, relax, relax, relax. Next 2 minutes is just going to be that single leg deadlift. So all I want you to do is that 1 foot balance again, but this time instead of knee coming up, you're actually going to bring the foot out behind. And again, just work on that stability there. You can see I've done a leg session yesterday and you can just see just how wobbly my knee is there. I'm just going to try and hold that position as long as I feel comfortable with. There we go. And then again, same on the other side. So 2 minutes practicing that. Off we go. Let's go. 2 minutes. So again, come down into that deadlift position. So if we go side on, you're going to try and keep your back flat, stretch your other foot out behind and fold forward. Now you can reach down if you've got any dumbbells, any kettlebells, you could hold them. I've done a leg workout yesterday, so I don't necessarily need that because I'm already wobbling just with body weight. I can either hold my hands here or I can actually do it where I extend overhead and push out my hands in the opposite direction, so they stretch out Superman style. Try and stretch that non-standing foot out behind you. So if you're balancing on your right, you're not just holding your left foot off the floor, you're actively pushing it out behind you, so really stretch out. Anytime you fall, just swap sides. You're already a minute in. So if you've been balancing on 1 foot for a whole minute, swap sides now. This is good, yeah. Christian, using anything you've got to hand. So obviously if you don't have kettlebells, if you don't have dumbbells, a bottle of water will be enough. If any of you have ever trained with a slosh pipe, you will definitely know how water can be enough. They're a really simple piece of kit to make, but they are brutal when they're used effectively. 30 seconds more, 30 seconds more. The last one's a little bit trickier, but it's an upper body one. It's only 2 minutes and then we're done after that. 15 seconds more of this though. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax, relax, relax. Okay guys, so your last one's an upper body one. We have done this one before, but it has been quite a while. You're going to try and be in a press up position. If not a press up position, you'll be on your knees, but keep your knees back as far as you can. What you're going to try and do is lift one hand off the floor, and then you're going to try and turn your body by bracing through the other hand. So what you're going to look to do, notice I've gone for a slightly wider stance to make it a bit easier, but I'm holding that position, shoulders level. I come into that side plank, but then the tricky part, I come back down, but I keep my hand off the floor. And it's that control. What you go for, 10 reps on the right, 10 reps on the left. So it's that twist up, twist back down, but don't allow yourself to touch the floor. Okay, 10 reps right, 10 reps left. If you do fall before that, just swap sides and just keep swapping on a lower number. It's absolutely fine. 2 minutes, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So the turn up is dead easy because you're just going into a side plank. Dropping the shoulder, you should feel the core kick in a lot more. Obviously then try and resist, falling over, try and get the shoulders down level. So as an idea, anybody that's wearing Adidas, wearing a stripy shirt, it's perfect because you've got vertical lines, horizontal lines, vertical lines, horizontal lines. Not much good for you, you can't see it, but I can see it on video, so that's perfect. So you're getting that twist in. When you've done 10 right, 10 left, if you've done that, start again, go again. Just practice it. Try and make it more difficult for yourself. So again, like I said before, if you move your feet apart to make it easier, obviously you can do the same thing to make it harder. Move your feet closer together. You make yourself a much more unstable platform, so you've got to really brace so much harder to stop yourself from touching the floor. The lower you can drop your shoulder, the more you'll feel your abs kick in to keep you braced. Minute and 15 seconds gone. This is good. Good, looks really good across the guys on Zoom. But if you struggle with this, just try and hold one position. So if you can't move, if you've got to the stage where you just are too tired, you can't move, just hold that position as best you can. Don't worry about opening the shoulders and closing them, just hold that one position. That isometric hold, same as we had at the start. Session number 33, who'd have thought? And time. Okay, so that is today's session done, guys. That is today's session done. So for anybody that has been following along on YouTube, brilliant job, guys. Well done. I will see you again on Monday. If you have any feedback, as always, Neil Gallagher Training on Instagram or on Facebook, either one. Contact your captains, contact your coaches. They can get feedback to me in terms of classes. Some of the guys have taken advantage of that already and have put different changes into the classes as we go. I am more than happy to adjust them to what you guys think you need in terms of fitness as we go forward. But if you don't have any other feedback, anybody that wants to tag me in a story on Instagram or Facebook stories, for anybody who does Facebook stories, that'll be lovely. But other than that, guys, I will see you next Monday. Well done.